Welcome back into another special edition of Talking Fitchburg. It's a Talking Fitchburg update. Joining me today on this March 27th, it's a Friday, it's Chad Brecklin, your Chief of Police. Chad, thank you for stopping in. I know you're very busy with a lot of unique stuff going on, things we've never dealt with before, right?
Yes,
it's the name of the game.
Very much so on the busy front and very much so on the unique and new. Yes.
Absolutely. This week, I think things kind of turned towards your direction a little bit as far as the Stay Home, Stay Healthy, Save Lives initiative that the governor had put out there. I thought you guys came up with a great graphic to kind of harness this in, what it is, what it isn't, and how you're going to respond to it is the conversation I'd like to have with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this kicked off on Wednesday, March 25th at 8 a.m. At March 5th at 8 a.m., did Fitchburg Police Department flip a switch to something new?
No, we didn't. And that doesn't mean that we're not taking the governor's safer at home order seriously, because clearly we are, and we would highly encourage and expect our community to do the same. That safer at home order is in place for a reason. It is to protect the public health of all of our community members, to further combat the significant spread of COVID. So we definitely encourage folks to follow that order. And, getting back to how we apply that order in Fitchburg, we're not proactively stopping anyone to inquire if they're on an essential trip or an essential employee or anything of the sort. No one is required under the order to have an ID card or a letter that identifies that they're an essential employee, or they don't have to have permission to leave their home or any of those things. And in fact, the governor himself encouraged folks to get out and do some exercise. You can still do that. Parks are open. State parks are also open, so get outside, obviously maintain that physical distance from one another that's been recommended to help minimize spread, but by all means, get outside, take care of your mental and physical well-being both. And I do want to add, Jeremy, that the Dane County Chiefs of Police Association met yesterday, and we overwhelmingly supported a letter to our community advising a similar approach of basically handling the enforcement of the governor's order on more of a complaint basis, repeat violations, or significant public safety concerns regarding a violation of that order. And again, that was overwhelmingly supported by the County Chiefs Association, and a media release was put out on that last night. That's awesome. That's a strong front then that,
across our community here, that you guys are working together, you're in it together, and great information to get out there. What are officers doing then during this time would be kind of the follow-up question, because it's still in some ways business as usual.
It still very much is business as usual from a call volume standpoint. We'll wait to see how the numbers, call volume numbers look as the month ends. There could be a bit of a decline when you start looking at, clearly we're looking at hazardous traffic violations, as those things are more of a priority than just a traffic stop for a registration violation or equipment or those sorts of things. So they are very much still out in our community responding to calls. Some things that we are also emphasizing is to maintain visibility in our neighborhoods, to try to at least hopefully present some sense of normalcy for our community and a peace of mind, hopefully, that knowing that even though there might be reduced activity in my neighborhood of people being out and about, the police are still here. We're still willing to help and be available and so forth. And we're also increasing our visibility in our commercial areas and business areas, knowing that many of them could be closed or are likely to be closed now, and making sure we're doing some additional checks and make sure the businesses are secure and those sorts of things to obviously prevent them from hopefully becoming a victim of burglary. And we're continuing our efforts to make sure that people have garage doors closed to help prevent crimes of opportunity. I've seen a number of our evening and late night shift officers are out proactively making contact with homeowners who may have inadvertently left a garage door open.
Yeah, that can't thank you guys enough for that effort. And that's something we've talked about many times here that you've kept up on. And I think that normalcy from your standpoint is an awesome thing. I also love you have a very talented graphic designer on
We're fortunate.
on the force there. And the stay healthy, physical, and maintain physical business. You want to see people out there. You want to see, yes, we can't engage in a basketball game or things like that, but you guys are still out there to protect the public in any way, fashion. But you also know mentally we want people to stay and keep going because that could lead to things.
Right, absolutely. And I do want to obviously acknowledge our resident graphic artist, Lieutenant Ned Hartwick. He does a phenomenal job with a lot of the social media stuff that we put out there. It's he's the man behind the curtain, so to speak, on that. But absolutely, to answer your question, Jeremy, we do encourage people to as they're following the governor's order, to please do get out, have some sense of normalcy to the extent that you can have in your life, recognizing that many folks are working remotely from home now. Some folks, obviously, their kids are going to be home, if they have kids from school. Some folks have potentially been laid off or lost jobs already, so finding ways to help, get out of your house potentially and keep your mental health a priority, and again, your physical health a priority as well. But, we certainly encourage folks to do what they can while still complying with the governor's order.
Absolutely. Another one that was put out there, shared through you guys, was the Safer at Home order and the end of domestic abuse and stuff. And there's this is a great resource. I know it's kind of hard to see on here. It is on your Facebook page. But during this time, too, we still want people to report stuff, being together and stuff. There may have been things previously. We're not going to go totally down this path. But as a reminder out there are certainly a lot of resources, and officers are here to help on any front, but especially here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly recognize that folks are still potentially victims of domestic abuse, regardless of the current health situation or orders that are put out by the governor. We are here, as you mentioned, as we always have been and always will be. We are a phone call away to come and assist your particular situation or point you into the direction of resources that might help improve the situation and remove you from an abusive environment.
Yeah, I think that's important. It's something that you may not be thinking. There's so much information being passed around there, but something that's still important to emphasize. Folks also might, we're just flying through your Facebook page today, folks may have saw this seeking information on multiple robberies and a joint effort with the FBI. If you could just quickly comment on this, just some information so people know what's going on here.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of armed robberies here in Fitchburg. I believe one happened at a convenience store on Fish Hatchery Road, and the other happened at a convenience store on Cyene Road in the last probably 6 months or so. And those clearly appear to be connected to at least 2 other robberies in the Madison area. So we were working cooperatively with the agencies that were investigating the ones outside of Fitchburg. The FBI offered to provide some assistance with the investigation. And clearly, if the FBI is going to offer assistance, it would make sense for us to take that. They clearly have some technical expertise and some resources available to them that we may not have at the local level here in our agency or in the other agencies. So made perfect sense to have them come on board with us, and you can see that they put out a media release recently seeking information on the string of armed robberies, and there is a reward, I think, of $5,000 as well that folks could potentially qualify for.
Yeah, the FBI you work cooperatively with probably Department of Justice all the way down, of course, but it's not unheard of for them to jump into different cases or help out in any way. Obviously, you're not going to say the details of how they pick and choose, but it's another resource out there for you guys to have, and I'm glad they're helping out there. Ending on a good note, I do want to make sure we get our contact information out, so don't let me forget that for how to get in contact with you. But I don't know if you saw this one go out or not too, but I like this is just a kind piece here. Who actually did this?
Well, I don't know. I
thought it was you, Chad. I was hoping that it was you.
My artistic skills are not that good, trust me. And you can evaluate these however you like, but mine are worse than this. I can assure you of that. But no, I don't know who did that. I was told that it perhaps might have been a family, mom and a couple of kids may have come and done it. But I actually came out of the building one afternoon at the end of a long day and happened to see those things, brought a smile to my face. So I took a couple of photos there. So you can comment on my artistic skills just by the photos alone, and shared them with Lieutenant Hartwick. So I'm assuming that he was kind enough to put those out there. But no, it was a great gesture for somebody to come by, recognizing that all of our staff have been putting in a lot of long days, have probably some additional anxiety, both personally and professionally, much like anybody else in our community. And it was a very nice gesture, so we appreciate whomever had taken the time to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things out there with putting hearts up in the windows, the chalk stuff, whatever. I always try to thank you when you come on here to make sure you thank your staff, and people know that I'm into public safety, so certainly I'm always a sucker for but you guys in the front line. Final question for you, Chad, is how is your staff holding up in this? This is the toughest, hardest thing and the day-by-day thing is so important, but from your standpoint, staff holding up as best they can.
Yeah, I think that all things considered, our staff is doing well. Again, they do have some increased anxiety due to some challenges both now in their professional and personal lives that they weren't dealing with. But I've also asked our staff to not only recognize that we're facing additional challenges both personally and professionally and may have increased anxiety over that or other thoughts and considerations, but to also think about all of our community members that are also out there dealing with very similar situations, and just from a different perspective. We know our community has many business owners who are potentially looking at concerns about reopening or not reopening when this pandemic is over. We have people in our community who have been laid off or lost their jobs and are curious and concerned how they're going to pay their rent or their mortgage or their bills and those sorts of things. So we're not alone in this situation. Our entire community is facing challenges from a variety of fronts, and it's in times like these where we really need to band together and recognize that we're all one and be here for each other.
Absolutely. I don't think I could have said it better myself, Chad. Thank you. Heartfelt thank you from Fact TV and all the residents. I'm sure I can't thank public safety for being right there on the front lines just as much as you would say to the hospital or to any other person out there. Chad, real fast here, folks want to, and I'm going to try to pull this up at the same time you talk about it, but I think important enough contact information for you guys with the closures here at City Hall and stuff doesn't mean that we stopped our access here. Chad, where can we get the info?
Certainly, you can contact our dispatch center. It's still in operation, 270-4300. Despite the closure of City Hall, you can still access the police department vestibule area on the west side of City Hall and reach a call box in there to go directly to the dispatcher as well. So those are the two ways by phone, and then clearly you can find additional information on contacting us on our website. There is a whole section on the city website now of COVID-related information as well that is affecting all city operations for general questions.
Absolutely, and we'll keep continuing to get that info out there. Chad, thank you so much. Fist bump, however you want to do it. We got this. And again, thank you for taking the time, and we'll check in with you hopefully next week.
Thank you.
All right, that is Chad Brecklin, Chief here at your Fitchburg Police Department. Take not a break, but a wrap up here, and I'll be back with another update real soon.